campers, I'm Leicester. No, I am not a city, that's my name. If you're enjoying the music that you're hearing, that's good, because I was the one that made it. Check out my music on SoundCloud, if you feel like it. Shameless plug over. Without further delay, I'm here at gunpoint to introduce this week's Benny Shakes Things Up. Without further ado, here's Benny.
Hello everyone and welcome to episode 19. If you're wondering where episode 18 is, then jump over to YouTube after this and check out that special episode with me and Mark McKean interviewing a PA. So yeah, you're right then, Blue Glasses.
Yeah, I'm great. I've had a good week. How about you, Benny?
Yeah, been busy.
Busy falling off a few doors?
Yes. That was fun. But my back is much better.
Good to know.
Much better. So anyway, if anyone would like to buy our comedian a drink, a pint, you can always donate at PayPal and I will make sure they get the money.
And I'll make sure that you drink coffee and not beer, Benny. You don't need any alcohol encouragement.
I haven't had a drink for 5 weeks now.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
And I'm on the water. We've been
Anyway, it's not about us tonight. Shall we bring our guest on?
Let's do it.
He's won awards for his podcast in America. You can guess he's from America. Don't ask me which part because I forgot.
Well, we need to ask him then.
We will ask him. So, Dante, that's it. Welcome, Dante. So yeah, welcome.
Thank you. Welcome. I feel like I should have wrote that down for you somewhere, Benny. I'm sorry.
it wouldn't have helped because me reading it doesn't make no sense.
I know. We sent 7 emails one day just to get my name spelled right. It's okay. I'm learning. I'm working with you, buddy.
Yeah. So before we get started, Dante, just tell us what your disability is.
So I have a couple.
Right. All right.
I'm Asbirshs. I'm a little autistic. So I have shitty social skills. I cuss a lot. And then I'm deaf in one ear. I've had my stapedectomy replaced in my left ear. So black people aren't always loud because we're black. Sometimes it's because we're deaf too.
Pardon?
Yeah, pardon me. Yeah. Whatever. Yeah. You're an asshole. Whether or not you're disabled or not, you're still an asshole, Benny. I figured that part out.
Yeah. Cool. So, how has that affected you in lockdown? Well, you're not in lockdown, but how has it affected you in this crisis?
Well, it's a little different for me. When I first started comedy, my deafness really affected how I was able to perform.
Right.
Because when you're standing on stage and there's only like 15 people there and you have good audio, I couldn't hear them laugh. And so a lot of times I'd be getting frustrated or start sweating on stage or getting nervous because I didn't think I was getting anybody to respond to what I was doing. And so that was something I really had to get used to. because you know I read lips, right? That's the funny part about doing these Zoom mics or Zoom shows is I'll be like, I saw what you said there, and people will be like, what? And I was like, yeah, that fucking black guy's funny, and they'll be, oh shit, you did see what I said? Yeah, I read lips, motherfucker. You know what I mean? But also talking about that, I'm glad you brought that up because it reminded me. My communication sucks now that we're wearing all these masks.
Yes.
Because I mumble a lot. I say suit man, and most people say, did you say soup man? No, suit man with a fucking T, not a P.
Oh, suit man.
Yeah.
I automatically thought it was typing area.
And everybody always thinks it's soup, like a soup.
Yeah.
When I say it because of my mumbling.
Yeah.
And so like when people wear masks, I can't hear them.
Yeah.
I can't read their lips to follow up. I don't have a secondary way of trying to figure out what they're saying. I just don't fucking hear them. And so I just let it go. A lot of times I just walk around. I'll be like, I'm deaf. Fuck it. We're not going to communicate. I really don't fucking care. Fuck you. You know what I mean? Like I guess I don't have time.
I mean, I bet it's really hard for deaf people at the moment out in the big wide world because everyone's got a mask on and you need to lip read to communicate. So that's got to be really hard.
Yeah, because that's my secondary. You know, I hear at about 60 to 70% probably. But the problem is most of my good hearing is in my right ear.
Right.
So if you're on my left side or if it's loud out or like I was working at the supermarket and I used to check people out and you'd have people talking all around me and I'd be like, I can't fucking hear you.
Yeah.
And people would look at me and I'd be like, I'm deaf in one ear. I'm hard of hearing. I can't hear you. One guy was like, well, it's not my fault you're deaf. And I looked at him. I was like, it's not my fault you're a fucking asshole either. And he just kind of looked at me. And I was like, I can't hear, dude. Like, speak up. And the worst part is not to say right or wrong, but people act like I'm slow when I say I'm deaf. And they'll be like, can you understand me? And I'm like, I'm not slow. I'm just deaf. You know what I mean? Like,
I get that quite often. Someone, if I've got a friend with me, they will talk to my friend and go, does he want milk? And it's like, hello, I've got a brain. So,
it might take you a second to respond, but I hear you. Whereas I'm the other way around. I didn't fucking hear you. That's why I'm not responding. So fuck you.
Cool. So you're Asbirshs. Because no, we go with autistic first.
Well, that's the funny part. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Is it the funny part? All right. Autistic, there's in the UK, 1 in 100 people will have autistic, but not one person has got the same autism. So what is your type? What does it affect you?
Now, for me, I'm a little different. I'm self-diagnosed. It's something that I didn't know about. And then I started this Autastic Artists podcast where we highlight autistic artists. Yeah. And my co-producer was somebody who's known me since high school. Yeah. And she was like, we were talking and we got together with my logo artist who does our artwork. And she was like, aren't you autistic? And I was like, what? At first I was pissed. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? And then she was like, well, I always thought you were. I mean, in high school and all these things. And then I started doing the research. And then have you ever heard of the show Big Bang Theory?
Yes.
I'm a lot like Sheldon. I'm just black, right? And I'm a nerd. I mean, not a nerd, but a jock. Yeah. And so when I grew up, I was always in portable classes.
Mm.
You guys know what I mean? You go to class for a couple hours, and then they send you to go learn with the portable kids. Now, now that I'm older, I know what that means. That means I had a para-educator or a one-on-one teacher, right?
Yeah, right. Did.
That means I was in special ed or behavioral that's what I was in. Now, they didn't tell me that. Right? And then the other part is I've been 6 foot tall since I was in 5th grade.
Mm.
And I also was doing algebra since 4th grade. So most sped kids, not saying all, but most sped kids are lacking in the classroom or behind academically. So now you've got a kid that's behind academically, behind socially, and behind physically. You've got to give them those barriers. Well, I was not behind academically. And physically, I was ahead of everybody else. So they couldn't put me in full-time, you know what I mean? And then I don't think they really wanted to diagnose me because I was this huge fucking kid with anger problems. So you're not going to put look at Emma's laughing at me, right?
Yeah.
Like, you can't, nothing personal, Betty, but growing up, if we were the same age, I couldn't be in the same classroom as you. I'd have made fun of you. Not on purpose, but I would have, you know what I mean? And then if it got physical and you hit me and I hit you back, fuck, that's all bad. I remember getting in trouble for hitting a kid who was in the same grade, and I'm 11 and he's 11, and they wanted to send me to jail.
And Duante, is it fair to say that, and I hope you don't mind me saying though, because this is a symptom, isn't it, of autism for a lot of people, having aggression and angry outbursts.
Yeah.
Because of the problems with social communication, isn't it? This is actually part of the condition that a lot of people are not aware of.
Well, not only that, but the masking that goes on.
That's it. Yeah.
You know, I went to I counted it out first. I graduated a year early. So I went to 12 school years. Instead of K through 12 or 13 years over here, I went K through 11. And in 12 years of school, I went to 11 different schools.
Oh my God.
And for my high school was 3 years. So that meant that in my first 9 years of school, I went to 10 different schools. How do you fit in? How do you get a diagnosis, right? How do you get somebody to tell you these things? And then I was so big and so new that you go to a first day of class, and I can remember on multiple occasions kids thinking I was the teacher.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, because when you're 5'6", 5'7" in 3rd grade, you're taller than everybody. I've been taller than my teacher since like 2nd, 3rd grade.
God.
And then when you talk about racism and intimidation, and you talk about my anger, I've got 5'0" white women scared of me because I'm a 3rd grader who's bigger than them.
Yeah.
Well, that brings me, I've been watching Katie Price. You probably don't know who Katie Price is.
No, but I'm looking it up now. So
yeah, she used to be a page 2 girl.
She's a model, yeah.
Okay, I see what you're talking about.
She's a model and a celebrity in Britain, yeah.
Yeah, she's got an autistic son called Harvey, and he's fantastic.
He also has Prader-Willi syndrome as well. I don't know if you've heard of that, Dante.
Would you say I don't hear that well? Remember, you guys are both
Prader-Willi syndrome.
What is it?
Prader-Willi.
Oh God, your accent's killing me. It's okay. I found it. Prader-Willi. Gotcha.
Well, Harvey's just turned 18, and he needs to find a residential college. Now, when she was talking to a parent, and she said to Katie, you do realise if Harvey kicks off in college and keeps kicking off, the government have got the for the law to what's the word?
Segregate him.
Segregate, divide, yeah.
No, go into
Section.
Yeah.
Section him.
Section him.
It's very common. I know it happens a lot in the US as well, but it's a very common thing here for young people as they're approaching the teen years. If they're showing aggression, especially if they're an older teen like Harvey is. So the reason he's hit the press recently is he was having very violent outbursts and smashing things in his mother's home. And this is why she was looking for the residential care. And Harvey himself is also mixed race as well, because his biological father was a black footballer who was quite famous at the time when him and his mother got together. And so this is what Benny's talking about, is that if he goes into a residential care full time, which is what he is doing, supported by the government, if he got violent there, one of the things that they sometimes resort to is sectioning young people and putting them in a mental hospital.
And they will not get him out.
Thank you for the translation. I needed that. I need between the two. I'm getting you, Benny. It's just between your accent. I'm working with you.
I'm sorry, mate.
No, don't you fucking apologize. Hold up. Don't you fucking apologize to me, you son of a bitch. You're my buddy. I'm working here. We're doing fine. I'm following you. So here's what I would say to that, and I'm glad you brought that up. So one of the things I talked to somebody about systemic racism, and then the lack of mental health. So in the Black community in America, mental health is not acceptable conversation.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to be gay, and you're not allowed to be mentally disabled, right? Impaired, however you want to say it. I hate it when I say I'm hearing impaired, and I gotta, you're not hearing impaired, fuck you, I'm hearing impaired. That's how I want to say it, you know what I mean? But my point is especially within our community, and that's one of those things where I grew up with a mixed mom, right? A white mom with this black kid. And I can remember when we'd have parent-teacher conferences, my mom would show up and they'd be like, "Are you here for Billy? Oh, you must be here for Sarah. Are you here for Karen? Oh, you're Dante's mom. Oh, okay." And then the other way around, when my dad would show up, my dad's dark. And so they'd always either know it was me because I'm the only one who's not white, or they'd think he was the dark skin's dad. You must be Tyrone's dad. No, the mixed kid's mine, right? Yeah. And so when you talk about this, I worked as a paraeducator. And I got another friend who's a big black guy. He's losing weight, but he was a paraeducator. And I wish more big black men were paraeducators, because the violence that you see in schools is not violence. Timmy kicking you doesn't fucking hurt, bitch. Stop trying to send Timmy to jail, right? You know what I mean? Like, I had this little 9-year-old kid. He was standing there, and he's 12, and I'm going to kick your ass. And I was like, "No, you're not, Riley. Sit down, shut up."
Yeah. Exactly.
Right. And my buddy Damian Ellis, he's a great person. He's made it. And by the way, just so you know, Benny, I heard you couldn't remember. I'm from Seattle, where Starbucks is made.
Yeah, I love my Starbucks.
You still say it right. It's Starbucks, not Starbucks, motherfucker. It's you, not Starbucks. It's not Starbucks. Starbucks.
Well, it's fucking Starbucks.
I love you guys. We gotta do this again. But what I'm saying is that if you had more people who weren't scared of these kids, and especially when it comes to the minority kids, because the minority kids, and I hate to say this to you, I know racism isn't always big everywhere else, but it's still big. Let's say if 5% of English people are racist, that means that 1 out of every 20 teachers I see as a black kid is racist. White people are never dealing with that. They're not.
If we deal with statistics, there's a higher proportion of young black males in prison. That's fact, isn't it? It's the same here in the UK. It's the same in the US. And they go in at a younger age, and they come, and some of them never come out. They get harsher sentences for the same crimes.
Yeah.
It is institutional racism.
I'm gonna cry, Emma. You're my spirit animal. Love you. But that's what I'm saying. And so when I talked about institutional racism, and I'm bringing this into the conversation because it's real.
Yeah.
So now you're telling me all the teachers that these black kids with mental health issues are seeing are what color? Caucasian, right? They don't understand their culture. They don't understand what's going on at home with them. They're disruptive. I've literally seen, since black kids are louder and more flamboyant and more boisterous with their communication, a group of white kids can be sitting over here talking, and a group of black kids will be louder, fraternizing, and guess who gets sent to the office?
The black.
Right?
Yeah.
So now you have this pattern of this kid's a problem. So now he's got ADHD, and we're going to put him on meds, and then we're going to put him on an IEP, which doesn't make him learn anything. It actually gives him an excuse to be a failure.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying an IEP doesn't work. Benny, I'm pretty sure you need an IEP, buddy. Not talking shit, just saying, right? You need help.
It's
an individual learning plan.
It's an individual educational plan.
Yeah, I had the one-to-one support all through school.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I had that job. I'm not insulting you, Benny, but I'm pretty sure you need that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you need it to be successful.
Yes.
And it made you successful. With a lot of these black kids and the ADHD and these misdiagnoses, and they're just giving them a way to not do work.
Yeah.
And that's the worst part, is a lot of these kids, they're not being taught how to get better socially. This lady, Katie Price's kid's not being taught how to socialize with people who are regular. He's being taught that he's different and he gets to be that way, and his behavior's okay because he's autistic and he's got whatever syndrome. And since he's got this syndrome, he can act that way, and he's going to continue to act that way until somebody tells him it's not okay. Do you get what I'm saying?
I do and I don't. I mean, I've known of Harvey since he was born. I've watched all the documentaries. I've seen inside their homes, and I feel in my heart it's not Harvey's fault, because his routine, when his routine is broken up, then he kicks off. But if he's in a routine all the time, he's fine.
But that's my point. That's my point, is you still learn right from wrong. Even with your disability, Benny, I know you probably acted out as a kid, right? You had time, but you still learn what's right and wrong, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
So
going back to the racial identity, though, the interesting thing about Harvey is he's also blind, isn't he? So
oh fuck, he's blind and autistic. Oh, that's
So the thing is, with that situation, I've no idea how he perceives himself as a young mixed race man.
Yeah.
And the rest of his family currently, because he doesn't see his biological father, they are Caucasian. So I mean, that's another part of this, isn't it? Is the heritage side of it, that throwing that into the mix as a young person growing up and changing and developing and moving into adulthood.
Yeah.
And not only that, but that's got to be a mind fuck.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what the difference between being black and white is.
Yeah.
You're only being told, and people are treating you differently because they see me, but he feels like he's Benny. he feels like he should look like a white guy, right? He doesn't know any difference. That would be, that'd be a doozy. I couldn't imagine being that kid. I'd be losing my fucking mind.
I once worked with a very young child. She was about 8 and she was Asian and she was blind, and she didn't know what her skin looked like, and trying to describe that, it was very challenging, I can tell you.
Well, my question was that, have you got things in America where the government section you're autistic.
Oh yeah.
That was my question.
But that's what I was kind of explaining. That's what I was actually talking about. We got distracted when I explained what IEP was, right? But they put you on an IEP. And then that's where I said they send you to the portable classes. So in my case, I remember going to the portable classes, but I didn't need anybody to teach me.
Right.
I was being sent there to be distracted. Like I can remember I'd literally get to go play Nintendo and video games, and I'd get to play free basketball all day in the afternoon because my work was done. So it all depends on the social needs of the client. Like I told you, I was a paraeducator. So I had this one kid named Delane.
Yeah.
Oh God, this is horrible. I'm gonna tell this story.
I just say hi to Liz.
Hi, Loza Nash. But I was working with one kid named Delane, and he was born with TBI, right? Traumatic brain injury.
Yeah.
And then he got hit by a car that was going 35 miles an hour when he was 8 years old. So he had TBI and all these issues, right? And he just didn't get it. No. And then his dad wasn't the best father. So his dad, this kid's 13, 14, he's in middle school, he's got TBI, he's got social issues, and he let his son watch porn with him and give him dirty magazines. And so this 14-year-old kid who's barely old enough to talk to a girl is already sexualizing women and telling girls in 8th grade he wants to have sex with them and can I see your boobs and all this stuff. Now, mind you, they can't kick him out because he's on an IEP.
Right, yeah.
There's no level of discipline. So every day, eventually, I had to teach him through social acceptance what was cool and what wasn't. Now, I'm not even paid to do this, really. What am I paid to do? I'm paid to fucking help him do his math, right? And then I'm not even the real fucking teacher here. That's the worst part. I mean, I know you had a one-on-one, a paraeducator is what we call them, but your paraeducator gets paid half what the teacher does. And who works more with you, the teacher or the paraeducator, Benny? The paraeducator. So why the fuck doesn't the paraeducator? Sorry, that's a rant.
I mean, she deserved more than what she was getting paid for because she used to take me swimming twice a week because she would get more out of me doing swimming than I would in a classroom. So,
but that's what you learn. These people that are paraeducators, they learn what the kids need. They're showing the kids the love that they need to have. So through social exclusion, I started to get him to act right. Yeah. And what do you mean social exclusion? Well, I've always been a comedian, even though I wasn't one. I'd joke around with kids and I'd say funny stuff. And one day he was like, "You don't joke around with me, Mr. Barnett." And I was like, "That's because I can't." And he's like, "What do you mean?" I was like, "Well, if I told you a joke or joked with you, you wouldn't know how to act. So until you know how to act, I can't really joke with you."
Yeah.
And so my form of barter, my form of negotiation to actually get this kid to act better was me having a better relationship with him to where I joke around with him. And to him, that was important. And so the only way I could get him to act right in class and not be a douchebag kind of was to joke around with him. And the only way I joke around with him is if he didn't act like a douchebag in class. So
that is really pissing you off, that light.
What? That light? Yeah, I got it fixed. Finally.
I
finally got my lighting where I like it. I look good now.
Oh,
but I've been talking and multitasking the whole time. You gotta give me credit for that. I was on point until you brought it up, fucker. Okay, goddamn it.
That's me.
He's like, "That's my disability kicking in. I can't just let that go. Your light's fucking with me. I see it. I know you're talking, Duante, but I gotta let you know. I see the light going off, right? Fuck you, Benny. I get you. I do the same shit. I tell people all this. You know you got a fucked up mole on your face? How'd you get that? I gotta know. If I'm gonna talk to you the rest of the day, I gotta know what's going on with your face, right? But no, that's the thing is, look, he's like, "Do I have a mole?"
He's like,
But
want more.
no, that's the thing is are you able to make things personal? Are you able to get kids to really understand the model? And I think too many teachers, they're not teaching kids how to be better people. They're teaching kids how to get through school.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't know if that's the success here. I'd rather have my kids hate me and have people hate me and be teaching them the right way to be than have people like me and just be getting them through. And that goes to comedy. Like, you see what I do with my comedy. It's all non-white male for the most part. Not non-white male, but non-white, normal white male. So Benny, you're cool. You're a minority like me. You're disabled. You can get on the show, right? But if you're a cis white male, you've got 4 limbs that all work, and your mind works, and your dick works, and you're not gay. Fuck. The general media is giving you a ton of opportunities. I don't have to. Emma's like,
I agree.
But that's the whole idea. Is I'm trying to be the representative of all you guys. I've worked as a paraeducator with BD kids, with special education kids. I'm deaf in one ear. My grandpa's blind. One of my best friends growing up is full deaf, right? I grew up catching the little bus with you fuckers because I was always in trouble. Like, I don't mean you fuckers in a bad way, but you get what I mean? I'm the normal one.
I'll put you on the special bus if you like.
Yeah.
You can be at the back with Tanya Lee Davis.
Yeah, what you do is you put me in the... Oh, you're going to put the black guy in the back of the bus? Son of a bitch. I see what you're doing there, Benny. Benny's a racist. Cancel the disabled guy. He's racist.
Oh,
No. But
I realised what I was saying as my mouth was... I'm like, you twat.
Hey, just blame it on your disability. That's a good time to do that. I'm not racist. I'm disabled. I'm sorry. But
before we move on, just because we're talking about children and that, over in this country, our schools are closed because of the virus.
Mm-hmm.
Now, do you think, I know every child's going to suffer in some way, but do you think the disabled people, children, are going to suffer more, or do you think it'd be the same?
I'd say more. Two aspects.
Yeah, I agree.
They're not getting the social aspect of being around other children, which is affecting regular kids enough. Imagine how much it's affecting handicapped children. Imagine the wheelchair kid that doesn't get to see everybody play basketball. I'll tell you a story. When I was a senior in high school, I was the football captain, right? And I remember we had this black kid in a wheelchair. I'd never really talked to him, but every time I see him, I'd always say hi because he was black.
Yeah.
He was in a wheelchair, and I just felt a bond with him. You are laughing, you fucktard. You're not allowed to do that. He's laughing. I'm not in a wheelchair. Ha, ha, ha. That's fucked up.
It's just the way you said, I waved to him because he's in the wheelchair and he's black. And
Yeah, I felt a bond with him.
You didn't care about the wheelchair. He was black. So I said hi. Yeah.
But that's the thing is I went to a mostly white school, so you see a black kid in the handicap classes, you want to I've always had this want and desire to work with people.
Yeah.
I told somebody else the other day, I don't have radar, I have redar, meaning I'm attracted to people who are on the spectrum. I sense it, I get along with them. Like, I understand about 90% of what you're saying, Benny. I honestly do. I don't know why. I'm good at it, right? And so
we've got our own language.
Yes. Yes, we do. We'll put it, and we think alike, even if we don't say it. We think alike, right? That's the part I think is we're wired all fucked up. So we're all in the same line when it gets there, right? Yeah. But no, this kid comes up to me one day in a wheelchair, and he rides up, and I'm not sure what his disability was, but he had a speech impediment like you, and he goes, "You're lucky." I'm just, why am I lucky? He goes, "You're lucky I'm in this wheelchair." And I'm still looking at him like, what do you mean? He said, "If I wasn't in this wheelchair, I'd take your spot on the football team." And I fucking died. Because I didn't think he knew I played football. Yeah. I didn't know that I didn't know that I mattered to him as much as, if not more than he mattered to me. Do you get what I mean? Yeah. Yeah. And I don't think people get that so Emma, did you know the reason why I'm on this show today is because Benny told me you're my fan?
That's so cool. How I came across you was I came across your adverts for Death Jam, and then I saw that you did the podcast about autism, and my son has autism and I'm neurodiverse, so obviously I'm always like rooting around online for comedy related things and seeing what's going on for neurodiverse people. So I just thought it was great, and especially the fact that you include diversity as well, so that you've got your night for Queens, haven't you, for Black women, which is just awesome, really. So I'm all about celebrating diversity at the end of the day, because that's the thing about being disabled. We're in these minority groups anyway, you know, and so we, like you say, if you're a cis white male, you already got that opportunity. You've got those, like, where's our opportunities?
If anyone's watching, please ask our guest a question or share the video so it gets out on the platform more. Or if you're feeling flush, you can always buy our guest a drink. So, yeah.
Or smoke in my case. I'm in Seattle.
So
not Starbucks.
Have you got a card then?
Have I got a what?
It's legal. Got a medical card.
Well, yes, I had one. I don't need one anymore. It's legal in Seattle, Washington.
Okay, so anyway, see, that's where our government are going wrong. We are billions and billions in debt. We've got these little drug dealers selling marijuana. Come on, Boris Johnson. Get with it and open a factory and make some money. So
they're not little drug dealers, by the way. I just want to clarify that they're not little. They're of all varying sizes. Drug dealers.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing is, I talked to a lot of people, and both. So here's the funny part: my artist was autistic. I think I brought that up to you, right?
Yeah. And
then my friend from high school is autistic, right? And then I'm finding a lot of people are Asperger's, and and I guess that's the hard part is when people are like, "You don't look autistic."
Yeah,
like,
that's a very
I look normal. You know what I mean? And I act normal for the most part. But those who know me or get around me and see my manic way of doing things, or how, like, I will literally sit here on the computer and do shit for 9 hours and come out, oh, fuck, it's 10 in the morning, right? Yeah. If you give me a task, I will finish it. You know what I mean? There's certain things of the maniacal way or maniacal way we do things, the fixation, you know what I mean? Like, I can really get fixated on everything looking well, and that's why I'm good at design and I'm good at some of these things, is because everything's got to be the right. Like, I called and complained about my stickers yesterday because the top angle was angled probably by 3 degrees, but I could notice it. My eyes saw it. And then when you put them next to it, it wasn't a big deal, but you could see the difference. And I want my new fucking stickers. I paid for boxes, not fucking hexagons. You know what I mean? Like, but Emma's like, wow, he is kind of crazy. But you know, you don't get these things right until you get around me. And then, you know, I'm good at masking. So I don't, you know, like I was diagnosed with anxiety and depression. And I was told I was PTSD because I grew up homeless and with a lot of abuse. I was molested. I was physically and mentally abused as a kid. I was left alone. Fuck, I just said that on national whatever. Oh, well.
It's fun.
Anyway, I'm being more open about my problems these days. It's not always good, but oh, well.
Yeah.
But you go through all these things.
Yeah.
And so you get towards the end and who you are. And people don't really know who you are. Because you put up all these masks, you put up all the bravado. I'm a 6'2", 260-pound black male. Do people really look at me and think, oh, he was molested as a kid? I bet he was. No, they expect white women or small women, or you know what I mean. That's not something they expect to hear from me. So when I can,
most disabled people, I haven't got statistic, but when I did my social caring course back in the day, most disabled people are more likely to be abused several times over, and they just get used to it. It's the norm for them, and it shouldn't be like that. We're in fucking 2021, and I bet it still goes on. So.
oh yeah, that's the thing.
It happens a lot in the autistic community as well because of the social misunderstanding. We had a very high-profile charity here, Dante, who were looking after autistic young people, and they were doing institutional abuse, physically harming them. And the reason why it took so long to come to light is because the autistic young people didn't know how to communicate what was happening. So there's that barrier, isn't there? It's like what Benny's saying. With disabled people, there's additional barriers. There's a barrier anyway for anybody disclosing it, but this is an additional one.
Well, I've had. Ooh, let's dive into a shitty topic. Let's say this.
Are you streaming? That's you, isn't it? Yeah, that is you.
Yeah, I'm liking everything. I'm sharing everything.
Danny's talking to himself.
Yeah, I'm telling everybody thanks for tuning in, fucker. Shit. He's like, is that you? Yeah, I can multitask. Remember, I told you I'm a super nerd. That means I'm filling out an application right now. I'm on YouTube, on Facebook.
Before we run out of time, because we need to round it up, and I've got a very important question to ask you. What is your favorite biscuit?
You're a fucker for that, because you don't mean biscuit, you mean cookie. You mean cookie, you son of a bitch, and you've listened to my act. That's why he's asking me. No, it's not Samoa's, if you're asking me that. No, it's not Samoa's. You saw my act, you fucker.
We ask everybody. We ask everybody, Dante.
Okay, my favorite cookie, the one my mom used to make me when she was alive, and brings a tear thinking about it. I like a soft, homemade oatmeal raisin cookie.
Oh, lovely.
Good choice.
Yeah.
With the perfect mix of brown sugar, warm, soft raisins.
Cool.
See, my voice even changed. You guys got me missing my mom. But yeah, my mom used to make me batches of those and send me home with them.
Cool.
I want one of those cookies right now, Benny. I want a mum, and I want a mum that makes cookies.
Oh, that was the only good thing she was at. She was drunk and a hot alcoholic and mean and a whole bunch of other shit. So she wasn't that great, but she made some good cookies. You made me cry, you bastard. That wasn't supposed to happen.
Anyway, we will get on to the end of the show. We haven't heard about your suit, your website. Talk about what you do. Your
I don't want to talk about me. I want to talk about us. This is better. I talk about comedy all the time. I'm messing with you. So I do a podcast called the Autastic Artists podcast.
Mm-hmm.
What we do, I got to get you on there, Benny. I'm assuming you're on the spectrum, Benny, a little bit.
No, I'm not. But doing this podcast, things are like, well, I'm like that, but I'm not autistic. No.
Okay. That was part of the problem I had with this thing. Is when I asked people to sign up, they'd be like, "Hey, Emma's autistic," and then them would get on there and be like, "I'm not autistic." And then, oops, I'm sorry. They tried to sign. There were a ton of cis white guys signing up comics for my podcast, and they were like, "I'm not autistic." That's not. I thought that was hilarious. Sorry. See, I did it myself.
Funny.
But
we will give your email address to our autistic friends.
That'll work.
So if you want, because there's Helen, there's Paisley Boyd, there's Mark, there's Ian, have I left anyone out? I probably have.
Probably, but those four come to mind quickly, don't they?
Yeah, that'll work. I mean, I've got a whole thing I can give you. That's a form that I'll give you for them to sign up, and they'll tell me their diagnosis and they'll give me their contact.
Yeah.
But no, that's a podcast where we're just similar to this conversation about disabilities and my deafness and all these things. We're having the same conversation about autism.
Yeah.
And we're really having the same conversation about, because unlike this show, we know when we're disabled, when we're born, those disabilities we're usually born with, right? And it doesn't take too long for them to figure out there's something different. I won't say wrong, I'll say different about us, right? Whether that's our hearing, your physical, mental, whatever it is, usually when it's on that side, it's identified. With Asperger's and some of these neurodivergent differences, you can make it to you're an adult, like it sounds like in Emma's case, and you're just the quiet, non-functional one. And then finally one day you go to your therapist, and your therapist is like, "Have you ever been diagnosed with autism?" And you're like, "No." They're like, "I'm pretty sure that's you. I'm pretty," right? And so it's just different. And so we talk about, it kind of starts off dark, because every time we do the podcast, we're asking people about what it was like to be diagnosed. What was it like before diagnosis? How do you feel about being...
Ghost Boy. Jamie Priest has put up about Ghost Boy. Yeah. You need to read that, Dante, if you haven't.
Ghost
Boy. Ghost
Boy. It's called.
So just on that podcast, we do a good job of just really giving people a chance to talk about their story and get, black kid, I see this. All right.
Yeah.
And then it's just one of those where you're able to really give people a voice.
Yeah.
That's huge. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then, like, I think Emma noticed, like, for her son to be able to watch a show that's got successful autistic people being creative, being a magician, an artist, a comedian, a writer, a circus. We got somebody who does circus shit and skates and blows fire and all kinds of crazy fucking shit, right? Just letting people know that autism doesn't stop you.
Exactly. I mean, what is your full-time job nowadays?
SuitMan. I'm on unemployment, and so I'm getting enough money to pay my bills. But my full-time job right now is pushing this brand and really embracing getting more opportunities for non-white males. You know what I mean? Like I wanted to do a disabled show, and I didn't know how. I wanted to call it laughable instead of disabled. Laughable.
We've got a bloke who's autistic called Mark Buckwood. He does Laugh Able gig on once a month. The next one is next Friday at 8 o'clock. Laugh Able. I can send you all the details.
That'll work.
So it might be worth emailing him and getting you on that as well.
And that's my thing is just trying to find ways to do that. You know what I mean? Like the name's very similar, but I'm trying to make it so that way everybody has a platform.
Yeah.
Everybody's got a show they can watch, you know, and I don't know if people get that. Like when I do these shows, a lot of people are like, why you do them? And it's like, I'm thinking about the audience.
Yes.
Like,
go on.
No, like I'm pretty sure when you're black, you don't want to see one black guy with 3 white guys and an Asian dude, and then have 2 or 3 of those white guys be racist. You don't even want to stay and watch the black guy. Or if they do put the black guy up, they put the black guy up first, and so you saw the black guy, and now you don't have any motivation to stay for the rest of the show.
Yeah.
Right? Or you're going to one of these clubs, and they got a black headliner you really want to see, and then all they have opening for them are white people.
Yeah.
Like, why even at this show?
And no women.
Yeah, bingo, right?
Yeah.
And so now I make shows for those customers. I make, you know, I talked to somebody the other day. We're thinking about doing a show called Blurs, Black Nerds. Somebody else is doing something similar, right? And then I was going to call it NOC, Nerds of Color, so get nerds of all different shades, right?
I know a few of those.
Yeah, right. But you laugh, and people laugh at the name of my shows because they get the play on words, right? Like she said, I do Deaf Comedy Jam. That probably went over your head, Benny. Not the Black Show. It's DEAF. We translate comedy for deaf people.
D with a capital D. Yeah.
Well, we are trying to get funding so we can make this show more accessible for the deaf community. So I want a sign language person on with us at all times.
Although that would be British Sign Language. So
Yeah.
do you
Yeah.
I was just going to go there. I'm not going to say anything. I wasn't going to go there. I was thinking that. I
had to say the obvious, Dante. That was just me.
The thing is, most of our audience on YouTube are American.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, and on Podbeam, it's Canada. So, yeah.
Hey, I'll take it. I'm trying to get seen anywhere I can, so I like it. Shit.
Yeah. So, it's cool. So, before we go, if you were president, what would you change in your country?
Shout out to Australia. We saw you there, mate. G'day, mate.
Sorry. Hello, Australian. Yeah, we do have Australian.
You can do your Aussie accent now, Dante. You're doing
Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. Oi, oi, oi. Not only that, but I think we're top of the morning for him because it's got to be.
Yeah.
Oh,
he's waking up to SuitMan. Now that's some crazy shit.
Hey,
I know, yeah, that's his movies there, right there, wasn't it?
yeah.
Yeah, it's 7:55 in Canterbury right now. I see you, fucker. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for tuning in. But if I was president, what would I change? Like that's a hard one. You know what I mean? Like I'm black guy. Fucking, we'd start with reparations. No, no.
You've got 2 minutes because
I got 2 minutes. Okay, I'm getting the light. This is like comedies. Here's the light, fucker. Okay, I heard what you said, Betty.
I can do this. We are professional.
1 minute left.
He lighted me, this son of a bitch. But the first thing I'd probably change is I'd definitely go free college, free healthcare.
Oh yeah, yeah.
College is the biggest scam in the world. I was 60 grand on a degree that hasn't done anything for me. You could say it's my fault for getting my degree, or you could say it's the systematic racism that stops young black men from being athletic directors. You tell me, because I'm qualified, right?
Yeah.
And then healthcare. The idea of being healthy shouldn't cost you money.
Yeah.
Needing glasses, getting your teeth fixed, because I just broke my glasses the other day and I had to buy new frames. And I don't have the money for a new prescription, so I don't really want to pay $130 to get a new one. I just want my old one. And you know what I mean? Like, this shouldn't be that big of a fucking game. I mean...
Yeah. I mean, we're okay. We've got the NHS. But you guys have to have insurance and money in the bank just in case you have to have operations and that.
You want me to be responsible?
For everything, though.
I'm not growing up. I'm a Toys R Us kid. Fuck you guys, okay? I'm not growing up at all. You want me to save money? What the fuck is wrong with you, Betty?
Oh, God, they're all coming in now. Hi, Chris.
Uh-oh.
Hey, Chris.
What does this say? Because I can't read.
Esperanza, she said, I'd vote for you, Dante. I've been wearing the same glasses since 2008. Lol, I definitely feel you. Can I be your VP? Now that's an offer, isn't it, Dante?
We've had Asbirshs.
Yeah, SB's a young aspiring comedian. She's been seeing a whole lot of the trouble I cause on everything. So she knows she's a dedicated fan. She's an Emma. She knows what's going down with the SuitMan, right?
Well, on that note, I hate to say it, but thank you for coming on the show.
I gotta come back. I gotta interrupt you. I gotta come back. We didn't even talk about SuitMan. We just been having a good conversation.
Gone, you got 2 seconds.
I got more than 2 seconds. I got a minute and a half. You ain't going nowhere. You ain't doing shit. Fuck you, buddy. Where are you going? It's 8 o'clock. You got a hot date or something, Betty?
No, that's tomorrow night, Dante.
Yeah, I got them all fucked up and confused. You know what? Just say what it's about.
Just say what you want to
Exactly. I knew he was going to do that to me. So check out SuitManComedy.com. That's our website. SuitMan Productions on Facebook. Once a weekend, we have a show going somewhere, right? You can also check out SuitMan Productions on Facebook, SuitMan206 on Instagram. We're doing all kinds of things. If you go to YouTube, look up cut videos. I'm on a ton of cut videos. There's all kind of entertainment. If you find the SuitMan Productions on YouTube, this podcast is on here. There's 9 or 10 other podcasts. There's 19 shows. There's my stand-up. There's the riots from Seattle of last May. Like, I've got a variety of shit for you to check out.
Cool. The links are in the description anyway, and on the podcast. So thank you for coming. I've said it wrong, but hey, don't go away because all I'm doing is saying bye to the live stream. So
I got you, buddy. We're wrapping up the show. We'll still talk.
We will see you next week for Below the Belt which is a disability awareness show where I take 4 comedians able-bodied and turn them into disabled people. So we will see you then. Have a good...
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm afraid that's all we have time for tonight from Benny and the gang. Please remember to subscribe and click on the bell for more notifications on the next instalment of Benny Shakes Things Up. If you want to support the podcast or you like the jingle from Leicester in Nottingham, please click on the links below. Adios, amigos.